So I'll start from the very beginning. जब डैड को उनके फ्रेंड ने चोपड़ा अंकल ने बताया गुरुजी के बारे में और बोला कि आप चलिए मेरे साथ संगत में. So dad was a little apprehensive because he's a non-believer, sorts specifically in saints and Nirankaris को follow करने के कारण dad always used to believe that भगवान हमेशा निराकार रूप में है. तो गुरुजी में बिलीव करना, ट्रस्ट प्लेस करना was very difficult, but then uncle was insisting, so dad said, okay, let me oblige him. So one visit to Guruji and probably he should stop chasing me down now. So one fine day they decided they'll have Guruji's darshan. So dad accompanied him from Noida to Guruji's mandir in Delhi. तो गुरुजी के दर्शन किए, बैठे वहां पे. So those are the days when dad used to sleep at 8 sharp. He was running a factory. The days used to be very hectic, and he used to come back by 7:30. Had quick dinner, and then thereafter 8 onwards was sort of no disturbance time to him. जब मंदिर गए तो उस दिन they started from Noida around 6:30. Would have reached मंदिर at around 8, and they came back at 2:30 odd in the night. So we were all desperately waiting, and we had no clue because those were the days when there were no mobile phones. Way back in 98. So हम लोग बहुत concerned भी थे, पता भी था लोगों को कि इतना लेट होने वाले हैं गुरुजी के वहाँ पे. So जब वापस आए, so we were all charged up and we wanted to know what exactly it was and why it took so much time. तो फिर डैड ने बताया कि वहाँ पर अच्छा था, सत्संग मतलब शब्द चल रहे थे, गुरुजी ने कुछ बात नहीं की, गुरुजी दिन भी नहीं करते, प्रसाद मिला, लंगर प्रसाद मिला, and it was really nice. It was a very good experience. But yeah, it was just one. So we thought probably this is just one of an evening. तो हम लोगों ने भी ज़्यादा उस पे emphasize नहीं किया. Next day evening 6 o'clock around again the same time शाम को पापा ने वापस फोन किया and said मैं चोपड़ा जी के साथ जा रहा हूँ गुरुजी के. तो we were a little surprised and we said कल भी आपने बताया कि okay गुरुजी बात भी नहीं करते, प्रवचन भी नहीं करते, कुछ बताते भी नहीं है, is not a fortune teller. So what exactly was the experience? Why are you going again? So he said somehow मेरे को अच्छा लगा, and it is very difficult to explain the sort of feeling I had at Guruji's place, Guruji's mandir, in Guruji's presence. But yeah, it was really nice and I'm going again. So he said okay, आज तो plan नहीं कर सकते, but probably next time whenever we're planning, we should all plan together. So dad's third visit and our first visit. So that's when we had Guruji's first darshan. So जब पहली बार संगत में आए, as I said, I was a pretty young kid at that time, born in Punjab but brought up in Noida only, Delhi only. So I had no clue and no contact with Punjabi per se. संगत में पंजाबी में शब्द चल रहे थे जब हम पहुंचे. संगत पंजाबी में बात कर रही थी, गुरुजी जितनी बात कर रहे थे वो भी पंजाबी में बात कर रहे थे. So it was really sort of a place which but somehow संगत में हालांकि कुछ भी समझ नहीं आ रहा था, ना शब्द समझ आ रहे थे, ना संगत जो बात कर रही थी वो समझ आ रही थी, गुरुजी जितना कह रहे थे वो भी समझ नहीं आ रहा था. But still we had a very nice experience. So जब हम वापस संगत के बाद जब गुरु ने आज्ञा दी और हम निकले वहां से, तो पापा ने पूछा how is the experience now? You've been asking for last 2 days कि आपका experience कैसा था वहां, क्या हुआ? So अभी तुम लोग बताओ कि क्या हुआ वहां. So we were like, yeah, it was nice. It was a good feeling because at that age you don't really know मन की शांति और वो सब philosophies इतना well established नहीं होती. So it was very difficult to express. But then the fact remained that it was a very, very good experience, very nice experience. Guruji only knew the sort of vibes those were there in Mandir. Just had a very, very soothing effect. So that darshan, thereafter we started coming regularly to Guruji's with Guruji's blessings. So we were coming down regularly from Noida and we had a Maruti 800 that time. So उस Maruti 800 की average आती थी 11 or 12 kilometers per liter. So dad used to be a little concerned and used to keep a track. एक दो बार workshop में भी दिखाया, specifically complaining that the average is too low. But then the investigation, everything led to a conclusion that you're driving only in NCR, a very small area, not really going out, and that's the reason probably the average would remain at this one. When we started coming regularly to Guruji's mandir, तो पापा ने average check किया and average turned out to be 18. So dad was a little surprised कि ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता, because he used to be very meticulous about maintaining what the average is. So next time he said okay let me check it again. तो second time भी पापा ने चेक किया तो दूसरी बार भी 19 थी, इनफैक्ट 18 नहीं 19 was the average. So next time again it was 19. तो पापा ने कहा कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो रही है, तो इसीलिए he decided to keep a diary and a calculator for a perfect calculation next time. So he took down the reading when we got a refill. और exactly जब दोबारा से रिफिल कराया तो कैलकुलेटर लेके कैलकुलेट किया, the average was again 90. Now this third time when he went to मंदिर, तो गुरुजी ने बोला क्यों सिंगला उम्मीद है कि चक्कर आ गया सी. And that was the instance, that was the point when we realized that this is all because of Guruji's blessings. So पापा ने कहा गुरुजी this is your blessing. तो गुरुजी कहते देख ले फिर गड्डियां तो भी मेर हो जाती है. Not only people but even the vehicles, even non-living things like vehicles get a lot of Guruji's blessings. So every bit of our lives is controlled by Guruji once we are there at Guruji's place. Guruji always says that total surrender is total support. So what we need to do is only leave it to Guruji and he'll take care of the rest. And he's proven it many a times. We've had so many experiences to narrate on this. So in fact, just going back to our first day, my mom is strictly allergic to tea leaves. So since childhood, she's never had tea. And going to Guruji's mandir, the first thing that we get is chai prashad. So when chai prashad was served, she was in two minds whether to take it or not. But then being a little religious, she decided, okay, I'll have it for the first time. Yeah, if it leads to mouth ulcers, as was expected, then I would not be taking it again. So ऐसा decide करके मम्मी ने चाय प्रसाद लिया. So we were also looking at her and we inquired, are you sure you want to do this? Because चाय directly consume करना आपको पता ही है कि मुंह में छाले हो जाते हैं. So she was like, this is the first time, let me try it out and next time onwards, I may not. So we said, okay. So it started with a sip, that let me have a sip and then you guys can finish it off. But then she said, एक सिप से भी उतना ही नुकसान होता है जितना एक ग्लास से होना है, तो चलो मेरे को फिनिश ही करने दो. So that first day in Sangat, Guruji had her take 3 glasses of tea, चाय प्रसाद. 3 बार मम्मी को मिला और 3 बार चाय प्रसाद मम्मी ने पिया. अगले दिन जब घर वापस आके सुबह उठे तो she was as fresh as ever, no trace whatsoever of any sort of mouth ulcer. This is the first time ever that she had consumed tea without a negative impact. So this really subsequently got to know that whatever you get in presence of Guruji from Guruji's hands in Sangat, in Mandir, it is all blessed by Guruji and loses physical significance. Guruji बोला करते हैं यहाँ खाओगे दवाई है, घर ले जाओगे मिठाई है. It was precisely a medicine. It really lost its physical importance. And जब गुरुजी के यहाँ मिला तो वो गुरुजी का प्रसाद है. और गुरुजी के प्रसाद से नुकसान नहीं होता, फायदा ही होता है. जैसा गुरु ने कहा है, वो दवाई है, उससे बहुत सारी ब्लेसिंग्स मिलती हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें क्योर हो जाती हैं, जैसे कि हमारे बहुत एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं. So coming back to coming regularly to मंदिर, गुरुजी ने एक दिन पापा को बुलाया और बोला सिंगला हफ्ते 3 दिन आया कर. So dad was a little concerned. पापा ने पूछा कि गुरुजी कुछ गलती हो गई. तो गुरुजी ने कहा नहीं कोई गलती नहीं हुई, गुरु दा हुक्म होता है मन्नी दा है. So you don't have to question it, just follow whatever I am saying. So dad said ठीक है गुरुजी जैसे आपकी आ गया. तो पापा ने गुरुजी ने पूछा सिंगला फिर केड़े 3 दिन आएगा. तो पापा ने कहा गुरुजी वो भी आप ही डिसाइड कर लो. When you've decided that it is going to be 3 days in a week, so you decide the days as well. So गुरुजी ने कहा चल ठीक है 10 आएंगे. So this was starting with Sangat. By end of the Sangat, जब गुरुजी आ गया दे रहे थे, तो उस समय गुरुजी ने बुला के बोला चल सिंगला तेरे 3 दिन भी डिसाइड करते. It is Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So we had to come now 3 days in a week. When Sangat used to happen all 7 days, we used to really enjoy and cherish every moment spent in Guruji's Charan every evening. Now, getting cut down from 7 days to 3 days, it was a bit of a change for us. तो उसका रिजल्ट ये हुआ कि जो 3 दिन बचे थे, उन 3 दिनों में ऐसा एंजाइटी हो जाती थी कि we started coming a little early. So Sangat time was 8 o'clock. We started coming in at 7:30. We reached at 7 o'clock sometime. एक दिन हम लोग 6:30 पहुंच गए मंदिर. And Guruji was going out for a walk. So गुरुजी ने देखा, गुरुजी ने पूछा सिंगला तू कितना है? तो पापा ने कहा गुरुजी वो थोड़ा जल्दी आ गया था. तो गुरुजी कहते थोड़ा जल्दी, संगत का टाइम 8 बजे होता है, 8 बजे आया कर. So it was just a passing remark, and Guruji went for a walk, and then sangat party. That day onwards, irrespective of the time we left Noida at, we tried leaving at 6:30 also, and in the worst case we left at 7:30 also. Our distance of about 25-30 kilometers, we used to reach on the dot at 8 o'clock. So Guruji का वो एक passing remark था जब गुरु ने कहा कि सिंगला 8 बजे आया कर, but that passing remark was so powerful that it made sure that whatever, irrespective of whatever time we left at, we always used to reach Mandir at 8 o'clock on the dot. So this is Guruji's kripa, this is Guruji's control. We may not realize what sort of control Guruji has, but he has a lot of control. So very similar to Virat's experience, one fine day Guruji called dad and बोला आंटी ते मुंडे दे क्या ठीक नहीं. तो पापा ने कहा गुरुजी वो तो आप ही है, आपको ही ख्याल रखना है, जैसा आप रखें. तो गुरुजी ने कहा चल ठीक है जा. Next day, pretty close to my house was a market. I had to go to buy some grocery, and it was just a very, very short drive, probably about a couple of kilometers. There was only one major crossing on the way. On that crossing itself, the light was not functioning. I was hit by a bike. I was riding our Maruti 800 only, and I was hit perpendicularly by a bike. So the impact was such, that was a bullet. It has a very strong build, the bullet bike itself. But the impact was such that the bullet oil tank also got dented. So it just banged in. I had no clue what was happening. There was glass all over, so I thought probably the windscreen would have shattered. But I looked up at the windscreen. Windscreen was actually intact. There was no problem at all on that side. So I realized the side window, which I had not rolled down because it was a very short distance, side window was completely shattered. That was the glass which was all over. I got out, and typically, whenever it is a four-wheeler and versus a two-wheeler accident, people would have sympathy towards a two-wheeler. That is a default. But somehow, around that time, there were about 10-15 odd people surrounding us, and everyone was pointing out at the bike rider and saying you were, driving at a crazy speed and you had no clue what you were doing. Anyhow, so I got out of the car, looked at the car. The car had skidded and come to a complete halt. The key was nowhere to be found. So I looked for the key. Key was, lying on the floor of the car. I just picked up the key and thought, probably I'll give it a try. Agar start hoti hai, to maybe I'll go ahead. So मैंने car start की और car start हो गई. So I said, okay, I'll pick up whatever stuff I was, going for and go back home. तो मैं मार्केट चला गया. इतने में somebody from the crowd knew dad, and उन्होंने जाके पापा को बताया कि आपके बेटे का एक्सीडेंट हो गया है, वहां पर काफी कांच फैला हुआ है, तो पता नहीं कितनी चोट लगी हुई है. So they also rushed. When they met me, they said, okay, go back home and we'll figure it out क्या है. So I went back home, took a bath, and I had not even a single scratch. Not even a single scratch. Such huge impact. When I came back and looked at the car, one of the sides was completely written off. Non-driving side, it had so big an impact, both the windows and the rear, they were all completely damaged. When we called the insurance guy, he was saying, you're talking about a bike hitting this car, it looks like a truck hitting it. So that was the sort of impact that was there on the car. But I was without a single scratch. This was all because of Guruji's blessings, because Guruji ने एक रात पहले ही बोल दिया था. And when we went again in the evening to have Guruji's darshan, तो Guruji ने कहा देख ले फिर, मुंडा था ठीक है, गड्डी डैमेज हुई है. So Guruji took care of me. Car damage obviously was something which was repairable. So Guruji has always kept us very close to his chest. Similarly, one evening, mom and dad were going to Mandir. वही दोनों थे गाड़ी में, हम लोग नहीं आ रहे थे साथ. तो on a particular red light, they stopped the vehicle. There was a high-bodied truck in front of them. तब जब light green हुई, so obviously you would accelerate. The truck also accelerated. Dad also accelerated. But suddenly truck के सामने साइकिल वाला आया, तो he had power brakes and he immediately stood still. Dad had no time to react, so he got scared and actually closed his eyes and said, "Guruji, आप ही बचाओ," and put the brakes on. But he was 100% sure that he's going to be hit for sure. तो इतने में मम्मी was half asleep. She suddenly woke up and said, "गाड़ी रोको, गुरुजी हैं." And dad was also a little shaken by then. तो पापा ने बोला मेरे कंट्रोल में तो गाड़ी नहीं थी, बट ठीक है अभी रुक गई है और फिलहाल there is no damage it seems. So when they got out, they realized that it was a high body truck, and that's the reason car almost the entire bumper of the bonnet of the car had gone under the truck body, and it was just inches away that the windscreen would have touched the body of the truck. But Guruji saved them. So on the way to Mandir, mom was narrating, कि गुरुजी कार के सामने आए, मैंने देखा गुरुजी कार के सामने थे, ट्रक और कार के बीच में गुरुजी खड़े हुए थे. गुरुजी ने ये कलर का चोला पहना था, ऐसी ड्रेस थी. And once they reached Mandir, Guruji was sitting on asan wearing the same chola. So it was really Guruji who physically came and saved us that night. Otherwise, it was a definite accident. उसके बाद गुरुजी ने जब मौका दिया पापा को एक दिन बुला के बोला कि सिंगला अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर कर. So sharing his experiences, dad came on to this accident episode. So he started saying that मेरी गाड़ी है और हम लोग आ रहे थे, तो एक ट्रक के साथ ऐसा एक्सीडेंट होने ही वाला था. जो संगत जिनको पापा नरेट कर रहे थे, that auntie asked dad, is your car a Maruti 800? Dad said yes. So is it blue in color? So dad said yes. How do you know? So she said, I had the exact episode completely run in front of me in one of my dreams about a week back, जहां पर गुरु ने दिखाया कि मैंने एक ब्लू गाड़ी को ट्रक के नीचे जाने से बचाया है. So that was really sort of tying all of it together and just going on to prove that Guruji was there, and it was only him who saved us that day. Many such instances have happened ever since. हम लोगों का कभी-कभी हम इसको coincidence करके overlook कर देते हैं, but these are not coincidences. Guruji always said, whatever is happening in my presence is not by chance, it is by choice, and it is by my choice. And it really reflects that it is by his choice. One fine day when we were on our way to Mandir, हमारी गाड़ी का ब्रेक फेल हुआ. And the brake failure actually happened at a red light. I mean, it is just unbelievable. How can it be so smooth that you have a brake fail, but brake fail is when your car is actually at 5 kilometers per hour instead of a possibility of 60 kilometers per hour when you're on your way to Mandir, running around in daily traffic. So at the red light, when I was just about to stop, the brakes just failed. The brake pad fell to the floor, and I was surprised. What the hell? देखा तो ब्रेक फेल हो गए थे, बिल्कुल ब्रेक्स नहीं लग रहे थे. But then obviously the car had almost slowed. It was almost at zero speed at that time, so could easily manage taking it to side. Then using handbrakes, we could take it to one of the repair centers which was around. It was a Maruti, so everybody could take care of that. So mechanic के पास जब हम लेके गए, तो mechanic ने बोला कि आपका brake oil कहीं से leak हो गया है. Let me figure out where the leakage is. Once I plug the leakage, then you can go. So he was trying to figure it out. It went on for half an hour. Then it was night time, तो उसको bulb वगैरह लगा के arrange करना पड़ा. But for about an hour and 15 minutes, he was not able to find out that one leakage जिसके कारण ब्रेक ऑयल लीक हुआ था और ब्रेक्स फेल हुए थे. इतने में माय सिस्टर प्रेड टू गुरुजी एंड शी सेड, गुरुजी बहुत लेट हो रहा है मंदिर पहुंचने के लिए भी, अब कृपा करो प्लीज. व्हेन शी सेड दैट, इन अ मिनट दैट मैकेनिक टर्न्ड अराउंड एंड सेड, मिल गया. एंड इट वाज जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ 2 or 3 more minutes that he could fix that once he had identified, and we were on our way to Mandir. So Guruji's kripa, Guruji's blessings, he's always there overlooking you, he's always there protecting you. जब मंदिर जाना शुरू किया तो गुरुजी के शरीर से फ्रेग्रेंस आती. So that was something which was difficult to digest and understand at that stage. To a rational mind like ours, we are educated people, it is difficult to believe on whatever is being told to you till the time you actually see the testimony of that. So dad also was a little apprehensive कि गुरुजी के शरीर से कैसे खुशबू आती है. तो एक बार गुरुजी के पास बैठे हुए थे, तो गुरुजी की चरण पादुका उठा के पापा ने उसमें स्मेल किया कि चरण पादुका गुरुजी की चमड़े से बनी होती है, एंड चमड़े में स्मेल कभी जाती नहीं. फ्रेग्रेंस आना तो बहुत दूर की बात है, चमड़े से स्मेल कभी नहीं जाती. So dad picked up his charan paduka and smelled it. So उसमें से खुशबू आ रही थी. The same fragrance which was coming from Guruji was coming from his charan paduka. That charan paduka which he wore probably only for less than 5 minutes. जब वो अपने रूम से निकल के आसन पे आते थे, सिर्फ 5 मिनट के लिए गुरुजी चरण पादुका पहनते थे. उन पादुकाओं में से जो चमड़े की बनी हुई थी, स्मेल आनी चाहिए थी, बट गुरुजी की फ्रेग्रेंस आ रही थी. So dad was surprised, but just to prove that it cannot be, it can just be some perfume or something. पापा ने उसको रब किया अपनी ड्रेस से और उसके बाद वापस स्मेल किया, तब भी उसमें से फ्रेग्रेंस आ रही थी. And in fact, to his utter surprise, he came back and जहां पर पापा ने रब किया था, उस ड्रेस में से गुरुजी की फ्रेग्रेंस आती रही कई दिनों तक. So that's when he realized that it is something which is beyond our comprehension, beyond us. It is not something which science can explain. It is much beyond. So Guruji बोलते जहाँ साइंस खत्म होती है वहां से मैं शुरू होता. So this is exactly what was proven that day. And उसके बाद गुरुजी ने कई बार अपनी प्रेजेंस फील कराई. गुरुजी की फ्रेग्रेंस आती है तो गुरुजी फिजिकली वहां पर होते हैं. बहुत बार गुरुजी ने अपनी प्रेजेंस फील कराई. एक बार in the initial days only dad had to go to Chandigarh. So when dad was going, at that time I was not driving much, so lack of experience, lack of confidence both. I was driving within Noida, so probably a distance of 4-5 kilometers is the maximum I had done that time. A little skeptical, but I still did ask dad if we can go to Mandir. And dad was okay, pretty cool with it. पापा ने बोला हाँ चले जाना. तो I was like sure, मैं चला जाऊँ ड्राइव करके. पापा कहते हाँ चले जाना. So next day we took out the car and जब हम घर से निकले हैं and हमने main door close किया है, we could feel Guruji's presence, Guruji coming out the main door, sitting in the car with us. He was there all through with us for the entire drive to Mandir. मंदिर पहुंच के गुरुजी की फ्रेग्रेंस आनी बंद हो गई. उसके बाद जब हम रात को गुरुजी ने आज्ञा देने के बाद मंदिर से जब हम निकले तब गुरुजी की प्रेजेंस हमारे साथ थी, गुरुजी की फ्रेग्रेंस हमारे साथ थी. घर तक हमें गुरुजी की फ्रेग्रेंस आई है. हमने घर में गाड़ी जाके अंदर लगाई है and started raining like hell. It rained cats and dogs and it was just unbelievable because अगर वो बारिश probably 15-20 मिनट पहले हुई होती, as a little discomforted anyways, तो बारिश में I don't know how would I managed that day. तो गुरुजी ने बारिश को भी रोक के रखा. So he's absolute control over everything and he takes care of every minute thing that can ever happen. गुरुजी के दर्शन की अगर बात करें तो गुरुजी के दर्शन without his consent is not possible. And this was again, we've seen ample examples of that. मेरे जब हम लोगों ने मंदिर आना शुरू किया, I had a very close group of friends, 3 or 4 of them. उनको पता था कि मैं मंदिर आता हूँ. जितने भी experiences मेरे हुए मैं उनके साथ share करता था. So they all knew about Guruji, they all wanted to come to Guruji's, but then जब तक गुरुजी ने आज्ञा नहीं दी, which was about 1.5-2 years, उनको दर्शन नहीं हुए. जब finally गुरुजी ने बुलावा भेजा, जिस दिन गुरुजी ने बुलाया, उस दिन it was जैसा हम बोलते हैं, it was just a coincidence that everything fell in place. We had space in car, they could be easily accommodated, and we had them along. तो उनको दर्शन हुए पहली बार कुछ 1-1.5 साल बाद. On the contrary, जब गुरुजी का बुलावा होता है, उसकी भी टेस्टिमनी मैंने खुद देखी है. एक बार I was waiting for somebody in the car parking. So just waiting for them, I directed one of the cars to the parking thinking that it was my friends. But then I realized कि उसकी गाड़ी नहीं है, कोई और है, somebody unknown. So they rolled down the glass and asked me where is Nasha restaurant, so which was about a couple of kilometers from Mandir. So I directed them and said, I'm extremely sorry, I thought this is my friend's car, so that is the reason I directed you to parking. So they went away. It was a newlywed couple. So they just drove out and went away. But within 5 minutes they were back and they asked, यहाँ पर क्या है? So I told अंदर गुरुजी का सत्संग है and we are all enjoying the same. So they asked me if they can also go. I said yes, it is open for all and you can always go. So they parked their car. Instead of going to a restaurant which they had planned out, they actually went to have Guruji's darshan. Had Guruji's darshan, prasad, langar that night. And this is how, जब गुरु ने आपको दर्शन देने हैं, they had completely different plans, but they ended up having Guruji's darshan. So this is Guruji's meher, this is Guruji's kripa. Thereafter, Guruji's always been, since our first darshan, Guruji's always been taking care of us. This in itself leads to a lot of changes around you. One big thing that really changes is, अगर कुछ गलत भी हो रहा है, you have a realization and you have somehow a very big comfort in your mind that it is something which is happening is only a passing phase, and जो भी गलत भी हो रहा है, it is for a greater good. कहीं ना कहीं उसमें हमारी भलाई होगी. जो गुरुजी ने कोई बड़ी मुसीबत को छोटा बना के टाल दिया और निकाल दिया, ऐसा गुरुजी ने बहुत बार किया है. बहुत सारी गुरुजी की ऐसी कृपा है जिनका हमें पता भी नहीं चलता, because the things are averted without even touching us, without us even getting a feel of it. कभी कभी हमें फील होता है और वो बहुत थोड़ा अंश फील होता है हमें, क्योंकि वो भी फील कराना जरूरी है probably. So I had many experiences. A couple of them, I was down with fever. It was pretty high and used to, get to 100 to 104 degrees. और specifically evenings में हो जाता था. So the initial few days we were okay, but then everyone was getting jittery. They said, go for a complete investigation, what exactly it is. Because अभी 4-5 दिन हो गए हैं, so all blood tests and everything done, so all tests were fine. There was no abnormality which could be identified, so no real diagnosis of what was happening and why it was repeatedly happening and not getting controlled. Wasn't a typical viral. तो जब हफ्ता 10 दिन हो गए, तो गुरु से एक बार पापा की बात हुई. गुरु जी ने ब्लेस करके कहा कि जाओ और ये कर लेना. So Guruji asked a couple of things to be done, and with Guruji's blessings, that was a night when it all vanished and vanished for good. So Guruji की कृपा जब होती है तो instantly वो परेशानियों से निकाल लेते हैं. And not just limited to that, जैसे मैंने प्रसाद की बात बताई, मदर के एक्सपीरियंस से हमें पता चला कि गुरुजी के यहाँ जो भी मिलता है वो रियली प्रसाद है, वो रियली अमृत है. ऐसा हमने बहुत सारे इंस्टेंसेस उसके बाद अपने सामने देखे, अपनी फैमिली में देखे. मेरे दादाजी जो 25 साल से शुगर पेशेंट थे उस समय, वो जो गुरुजी के दर्शन के लिए हम लोगों के साथ आए, तो गुरुजी ने अपने हाथ से प्रसाद दिया, and the prasad was barfi. So Guruji gave him 4-5 pieces of barfi and asked him to eat. So दादाजी ने प्रसाद लिया और बाहर आ गए, and he was asking us कि अभी क्या करना है, इस बर्फी का क्या करना है. तो इसे गुरु ने प्रसाद दिया, आप खाओ आराम से, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. So he said, are you sure? Because अगर कुछ ऊंच नीच होती है, अगर मेरी तबीयत खराब होती है, संभालना तो तुम ही लोगों ने, मेरे को तो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. I have not had so much of sweet for ages now, so I'll be delighted to have it. तो हमने कहा आप चिंता ना करो, आराम से खाओ, गुरुजी का प्रसाद है, कोई चिंता की बात नहीं है, कोई नुकसान नहीं होने वाला. So he had whatever barfi Guruji had given to him. Went back inside. जैसे ही अंदर बैठे, गुरुजी ने वापस बुलाया उन्हें और फिर से प्रसाद दिया, बर्फी के 4-5 पीस. So उस दिन संगत में गुरुजी ने कम से कम आधा किलो बर्फी उनको खिलाई अपनी ब्लेसिंग से. And जब रात को वापस गए, he was damn sure that it is going to be a big problem tonight. But the night passed by without a problem. Next day morning he got up. सबसे पहले उन्होंने अपना शुगर टेस्ट किया. To his absolute surprise, it was 120 was the sugar reading, which he could not believe. But we always knew and we told him कि आपको चिंता करने की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. जब गुरुजी का blessings है, गुरुजी का प्रसाद है, so you don't have to worry about. So Guruji has taken care of each and every aspect of life. He's always been very very caring. संगत में गुरुजी ने बहुत सारे ऐसे experiences कराए जिनसे those were the things जो unbelievable हैं. Guruji always used to say that this is the place where you see practical. यहाँ पर सब गुरुजी के दरबार में सब practical ही होता है. There is no theory that you are taught. So one of the practical things that we've heard about a lot and ग्रंथों में हम पढ़ते हैं कि भगवान का दरबार सबके लिए बराबर है. Guruji has actually shown us that. It is just amazing and fascinating how संगत में जाके जब लंगर लगता है तो 4 लोग थाली में एक ही थाली में बैठ के लंगर लेते हैं, and you are sharing the thali with 3 unknown people, and it is really really amazing that how Guruji makes everyone at par. Everyone is sitting on the floor, everyone is having the same langar, sharing the same thalis with the unknown people. So it is very easy to think about, but very difficult to achieve. It is only Guruji जिनकी ब्लेसिंग से रियली ये सब कुछ पॉसिबल है. और गुरुजी संगत में देयर वाज अ नोशन ऑलवेज दैट पीपल अराउंड गुरुजी, जो गुरुजी के पास बैठे हैं, उनको गुरुजी की ज्यादा ब्लेसिंग्स मिलती है. तो गुरुजी ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू से दैट मेरा असली सेवादार वो है जो गेट पे खड़ा होके मेरे लिए ड्यूटी दे रहा है, and not the person who's sitting right next to me. My maximum blessings go to the person who's standing outside of the gate and doing some seva for me, doing some safai for me. So this is Guruji. Guruji ने हमेशा ये बोला है कि मेरे सामने करने से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, सामने करने वाले बहुत होते हैं, बट मेरे को तो सब दिखता है. You can see only till this wall, but I can see beyond the wall also. तुम्हारी जो दृष्टि है वो इस दीवार तक है, मेरी इसके पार भी मेरे को दिखता है. So he knew what was happening, what was going to happen, and he always used to subtly guide संगत. इतने massive experiences हुए हैं. गुरुजी ने एक सत्संग रखा था दिसंबर में, when I think it was somewhere in December. तो गुरुजी ने स्पेसिफिकली बोला था कि सर्विसेज के सारे लोगों को, आर्मी से, नेवी से, सब लोगों को बुलाना है. So Guruji, for that particular satsang, actually cancelled a lot of संगत's plans to travel. गुरु ने बहुत सारे संगत को बोला कि नहीं, सत्संग में आना है, कैंसिल करो अपना प्रोग्राम जहां भी जाने का है. So a lot of संगत which were planning to travel could not travel, and Guruji asked specifically to come for that satsang. और उसी सत्संग के दिन सुनामी आया, एंड संगत के मेंबर्स अगर उन प्लेसेस में गए होते, they were prone to a risk of coming in the grip of tsunami. It was a terrible day, but गुरुजी ने अपनी संगत को इतने सारे लोगों को बचा के रखा. गुरुजी ने ensure किया that nobody is hurt. So this is Guruji's blessings, always taking care of us, always there to save us. Big comfort because of being in association with Guruji is that you always know Guruji is taking care of you. And it is a big thing to have, because you really know nothing can drastically go wrong. Even if it does, it is just a passing phase. So that is a big blessings that Guruji has given to all of his Sangat members, all of his family. And गुरुजी ने हमेशा कहना कि कभी कभी संगत आके भूल भी जाते हैं लोग मेरे दर्शन करने के बाद, but once you come to my place, then your entire responsibility is mine for your entire life. So I'll take care of you. जैसे पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चों का ख्याल रखते हैं, गुरुजी हमेशा हम लोगों का ख्याल रखते हैं और ऐसे ही चरणों से जोड़ के रखे. And beyond that, I had a lot of experiences. My friends also were the extended beneficiaries. उन लोगों ने संगत में आना शुरू किया. संगत में उनके भी बहुत amazing experiences थे. एक बार ऐसा हुआ कि हम लोगों का I'll start with the admission first. एक बार पापा को गुरुजी ने बुलाया और बुलाए का सिंगला तेरे मुंडे दी एडमिशन करा दी. Dad was a little confused. Dad ने कहा ठीक है गुरुजी, थैंक यू, और आ गए वापस. Dad was a little confused because at that time there was no admission which we were pursuing. So उससे पहले I was trying for getting into it was after completion of my 12th. I was trying to get into an engineering college. So gave a lot of exams, tried to get into a decent university, but unfortunately could not really get into a desirous college. So I decided to drop 1 year. In the meantime, I was pursuing a BCom honors from Delhi University, and उसके साथ साथ मैंने सोचा था कि I'll prepare for engineering. And it was around November time already when the session actually starts in somewhere in July and August. तो गुरुजी ने उस दिन रात को ऐसा कहा, and अगले दिन when I was off to my Delhi University college, तो पीछे से पापा को कॉल आया, पापा के फ्रेंड का, and he said सिंगला जी करवानी है बेटी की एडमिशन इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में. And he was like, हाँ करवानी तो है, but अब कहाँ मिलेगी, because all the admissions are closed now. It is already sort of mid semester, so where will we get admission now? So अंकल ने कहा कि अगर करवाना है तो आप आ जाओ 10 मिनट के अंदर गलगोटिया कॉलेज के ऑफिस, and your son's admission would be done. So Dad said, okay, even if I start now, coming to Greater Noida where the college is will probably take me about an hour. He said, no, you need not come to the college at all. There is an office right next to your home, so it's just a 5-minute walk from your home. You come over. So Dad गए वहाँ पे अपनी चेकबुक लेके and चेक किया उनसे कि क्या करना है. So they said कुछ भी नहीं करना, आप एक चेक बना दो. He gave the exact amount कि चेक कितने अमाउंट का बनना है, and just deposit this check. Documents can happen later, but your son can start going to the college tomorrow onwards. And we were zapped actually. तो मेरे को तो कुछ I had no clue actually as in my college that time. So मैं शाम को वापस आया तो पापा ने बोला तेरा इंजीनियरिंग में एडमिशन करवा दिया. I was like क्यों मजाक कर रहे हो? तो he said नहीं करवा दिया, actually करवा दिया, and tomorrow onwards you forget about Delhi University and start going to your engineering college. I was absolutely amazed. फिर पापा ने बताया how it all transpired. It was just fascinating. So end of the day we got to know that the college was left with some free seats, where the annual fees is also very very nominal. पहले हमने इसी कॉलेज को अप्रोच किया था. They were offering us a NRI seat which would have costed us 8 to 10 lakhs. Whereas now the same college called us instead and offered a free seat, which was barely anything compared to that. So this is गुरुजी's कृपा. जब गुरुजी ने डिसाइड किया, जब गुरुजी ने एडमिशन करवाया तो it was just घर बैठे एडमिशन हुआ. So we started the college. We were already late in the semester, so a bit of a struggle on that front because we had lost 3-4 months of basic studies at that time. So first semester was a little tough. All of my friends, including me, we had a tough time, getting through with the exams. But then when the examination result came, it was all as per the expectation except for one particular exam. And that exam, I had scored something like 18 or something, and passing marks was 30. So I clearly told everyone that, it cannot be, it should not be that I don't even pass this particular subject. It is very difficult to understand why this sort of a result has come. But I'm damn sure there is some mistake somewhere. So गुरु से बात हुई पापा की, तो गुरु ने बोला revaluation के लिए डाल दें. So next day I went to college and applied for revaluation of marks for that particular subject. तो revaluation के लिए apply किया. जिस दिन apply किया उसके अगले दिन there was a lot of news going around that there are some changes which have happened. कुछ बच्चों के marks change हो गए हैं, and the university has declared that it was their fault and they've changed some marks. Now कितने बच्चों के हुए हैं, क्या हुआ है, वो exactly नहीं पता. So we were all doing rounds of the registrar who was taking care of this particular subject matter, asking कि क्या news है. So they said, okay, stay low. We'll exactly have the details by lunchtime and we'll communicate whatever it is. So lunch के बाद जब उनको खबर लगी, उन्होंने खुद ही हमें क्लास से बुलाया और they told me that your marks have changed. It is not 18, it is 50 something, and you have cleared that particular subject. So there is no issue. So Guruji ने bless किया. University on their own, without the revaluation process, which would have probably taken 1.5-2 months, without the revaluation process, they on their own came back and said, okay, we have made a mistake and this is a change. Puri University, which has about 120 odd colleges, they changed the results of only 5 students. I was one of them. Not all of them got increased. There were some reductions also. So it was really, really, again, Guruji's blessing that it all happened the way it did. मेरे फ्रेंड्स में से भी जिन्होंने मेरे साथ आना शुरू किया, one of them Yogesh had a situation at hand. He could clear all the subjects but for one. तो उसका एक सब्जेक्ट क्लियर नहीं हुआ था, and he was a little tense because getting post the completion of first year, it was really that probably if he is not able to clear it this time, he will have to reappear and may have to repeat the year also. So he was very tense and he was praying, and उसकी prayers से उसको ये advantage हुई that one day he said, गुरुजी के दर्शन हुए मुझे रात को सपने में, and ये उसने आगे बताया, हम लोगों की बात हुई, we went to college, and the same day college में there was an announcement done by the university that only for first year they are giving additional 5 grace marks to the people who have cleared all subjects but one. And if they are able to clear with those 5 additional marks, then it is okay. They don't have to do anything. They don't even have to reappear for that exam. And he was one of the beneficiaries of that. He was 4 marks short, and because of those 5 marks, उसको ना तो reappear होना पड़ा, ना उसका साल बेकार हुआ. So with Guruji's blessings, he got through. उसके बाद जैसे हम लोग हैं, हम गलतियां करते रहते हैं और गुरुजी बचाते रहते हैं. So I had a practical exam once. And the night before we had a function at बड़े मंदिर. So function में typically थोड़ा late हो जाते थे. फंक्शन से उस दिन भी हम थोड़ा लेट ही फ्री हुए एंड इट वाज लाइक toss up between staying awake or catching a quick nap. So I decided I'll sleep for probably an hour or so and then on to college. So वो 1 घंटे की नैप जो थी वो 2-2.5 घंटे में कन्वर्ट हो गई. I didn't realize, probably turned off the reminders also. But when I woke up, it was already around 7:30 when the exam was to start at 8:15. And I was a good 50 kilometers away from the college. So there was no practical way I could have managed reaching the college on time. So I called up a few of my friends and told them the situation. They said, "Ab kya kar sakte hain? Aaja, this is an external examiner, so there would not be any relaxation. If it was something internal, it was still possible. But with an external examiner, uh, you have your own fate in your hands. Abhi kya karne ka hai, wo dekh le. You reach as soon as possible." So we started at the earliest, but could reach only at around 9:15. Those were foggy days. There was a lot of fog, and we could not drive very fast. तो जब 9:15 मैं कॉलेज पहुंचा, तो जाके पता चला कि एग्जामिनर ने, my name starts with A, so I'm typically one of the first roll numbers. So my roll number was 6 to 7, and तो एग्जामिनर ने जब एग्जाम्स वाइवा चालू किया लेना, so he started from the first roll number. He came on to the roll number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He did, and after the fourth one, he suddenly said, "Okay, this is. I want to change it, and I want to start from the last now. So you bring in the last roll numbers first." So as given that extra time of 2-3 hours actually, so I could reach college safely. I could settle myself down, do whatever was required for the examination, prepare well, and face the examiner in a proper shape. So this is Guruji's blessings, always taking care of us. Every minute thing he takes care of. तो गुरुजी की कृपा हमेशा सब पे ऐसी बनी रहे जैसे हम पे है. गुरुजी के साथ सबका एक बहुत ही स्वीट और वन हमेशा गुरुजी ने कहा है कि इट्स अ वन रिलेशन विद मी. So there are no mediators when it comes to relation with Guruji, and it is so very true. घर में हम सब लोगों का भी एक अलग इंडिविजुअल रिलेशन है गुरुजी के साथ. गुरुजी यूज्ड टू टॉक वेरी रेयरली. बहुत कम बात करते थे गुरुजी. बहुत कम ऐसा मौका लगा कि गुरुजी के वचन सुनने को मिलते थे. बट जब गुरुजी कुछ बात करते थे तो यूज्ड टू चेरिश इट फॉर मंथ्स टुगेदर कि गुरुजी ने कुछ बोला था, गुरुजी ने कुछ बुला के कहा था. And even with that, the connection with Guruji was so strong. Even when we are not talking, the connection is always so strong. It is just amazing, and it is only Guruji who can do it. One of the typical complaints that many people have is, coming to Guruji is, मेरा काम इतने दिनों से नहीं हुआ, or whatever I came here for, I have not been given that blessing so far. But many people come in for the first time and they are blessed the same day. So उसका भी गुरुजी ने एक्सप्लेन किया था. बिकॉज तुम मांगोगे तो अपनी औकात के हिसाब से मांगोगे, अपनी विजन के हिसाब से मांगोगे, और अगर मैं दूंगा तो मैं अपने हिसाब से दूंगा और अपनी विजन के हिसाब से दूंगा. एंड माय विजन इज वे बियॉन्ड योर्स, एंड that is a fact. We just don't know what is going to happen the next second, and Guruji knows it inside out. Guruji really knows everything which is going to happen in the future, and is already making provisions to secure you against any upset or any abnormality. So Guruji, the only thing that we really have to do is just have complete total surrender and leave it to Guruji, and he'll definitely take care of whatever is happening around us. So as I said, at times अच्छा नहीं लगता. Once you are faced with any uncertainty, anything goes wrong, you start feeling bad. So a similar experience I had when I was appearing for an interview. So till then I had appeared for 4 or 5 interviews, except for discussions on package. None of the interviews went wrong really. So it was sort of, I used to be pretty confident that I'll be able to crack any sort of an interview. So there was one interview I had to give for Emerson. So I went into the interview. So first and second round were pretty good as always, but in one of the rounds, which was the final round, I was not shortlisted, so I was actually rejected. So that rejection came in a little heavy. I was not able to comprehend why something that's how it happened, because with my sort of experience, exposure, I should have easily cleared that hurdle. But that too I realized after about a couple of years. उस समय मैंने जिस पोजीशन के लिए और प्रोफाइल के लिए एमर्सन में अप्लाई किया था, that was taking care of a very small business area and a very small business volume. 2 years hence, I got a call again from the Emerson team, and the same set of people called me again. You want to reappear once again? So I said, does it make sense? They said, yes, it'll make a lot of sense because the person who rejected is not with the organization now. So I reappeared in Emerson, and I was selected, very easily with Guruji's grace. There was no hassle at all. And once I joined, I realized that this profile is relatively much bigger. This was almost 10 times business volume, which I was probably given an opportunity to a couple of years back. So अगर उस समय मेरा selection हुआ होता, I would have taken care of a smaller territory, a smaller business volume, and obviously your visibility in the organization is also limited. But Guruji की कृपा से उस समय नहीं हुआ, और बाद में जब हुआ, so my visibility across the organization is so high. Everyone's appreciated. The person who's interviewed me is our managing director today, and I still maintain a good connect with him with Guruji's blessings. So all with Guruji's blessings. So as I said, अगर कुछ गलत भी हो रहा है तो उसमें कोई ना कोई भलाई है. गुरुजी ने बाद में आपको दिखा देना है. That was only for your greater good. That intermittent phase of something going wrong came to you. So with Guruji's blessings, we've had such a wonderful time, because all the decisions used to be easily left to Guruji. Guruji used to take all important decisions. Guruji ne mera Siemens was my first job, and Guruji had told Dad that Arvind ko main Siemens mein karwa dunga even before I completed my college. So I had no clue, and Guruji had such beautiful plans. So I joined Siemens. It was a wonderful experience at Siemens also. Then Guruji ne bless kiya aur bola ki you should switch over also now. So at an opportune time, we switched. So all important decisions of life were being so simply taken by Guruji that we never had to really worry about something as big as a job change or taking big decisions in life. So it came as a very rude shock when Guruji decided to take Mahasamadhi. We had no clue how to handle this situation, because कोई भी परेशानी आती थी तो गुरुजी के पास जाते थे. जब गुरुजी ने महासमाधि का डिसाइड किया तो we had no place to go. Actually, literally, we had no place to go. We had no one to talk about, no one to go to and seek help, because everything always simply rested on Guruji's shoulders. So Guruji always used to take care of us and ride us through rough waves. गुरुजी की महासमाधि के बाद जब हरिद्वार से हम लोग वापस आ रहे थे तो there were few sangatkars on our way back. So I was driving one of the cars. तो जो गाड़ी में ड्राइव कर रहा था, we stopped by at around 2:30 in the night for a quick refill. हम लोगों ने पेट्रोल भरवाया और उसके बाद we started again. So again, as I said, it was Guruji's choice that I decided somehow to wear the seat belt again. Because typically I used to wear seat belts those days only with the fear of getting a challan, and only and exclusively in Delhi. When I was driving in Noida, I was never bothered to wear a seat belt. So it was just impossible that out of my free will, I decided 2 o'clock in the night, 2:30 in the night, on a highway to wear back the seat belt. But जैसा गुरु ने डिसाइड किया था, वो सीट बेल्ट पहनी. उसके बाद हम चले वहां से. We met with an accident. Our car actually crashed into one of the electricity poles which had live wire. And हम लोग 4 लोग थे गाड़ी में. Arjun bhaiya got multiple fractures on his leg, but rest 3 of us were fine. When we got out of the car, we realized the situation could have been grave, really, but it was all Guruji's blessing, Guruji's meher, that we actually were all 4 of us were safe. We were a very short distance from other Sangat cars, so we called for help. Sangat की गाड़ियां आ गई थी 3-4 मिनट में, and we were taken to the hospital, nearest hospital. So when we were taken to the hospital, actually I had severe nose bleeding at that time. So I had एक्चुअली इतनी ज्यादा ब्लीडिंग हो रही थी, मुझे ये भी नहीं पता चल रहा था कि इज इट नोज ब्लीडिंग और ब्लीडिंग फ्रॉम माउथ. Once we were taken to the hospital and all cleaned up, it was identified that it was just a very minor nose bleeding, nothing big, and that too because probably my face had hit the steering wheel, but it was not for the seat belt. My chest would have banged into that, and the consequences would have been definitely much severe. तो गुरुजी ने हमेशा हमेशा ऐसे ही रखा है, ख्याल रखा है हम लोगों का. सीन थ्रू अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सीडेंट्स, एज आई जस्ट नरेटेड अ फ्यू ऑफ देम. आई डोंट नो गुरुजी ने कितने एक्सीडेंट्स तो एब्सोल्युटली अवॉइड कर दिए जिनका हमें पता भी नहीं है. वी डोंट इवन नो अबाउट इट. वी कांट इवन इमेजिन व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ सिचुएशन वी वर इन if it was not for Guruji's blessings.